Real Talk with Jodi and Michal. Real friends, real situations, real life. Authentic chats from the heart to the gut. Two best friends keeping it raw, real, and relatable.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Talk with Jodi and Michal, lifelong friends who talk about everything from the gut to the heart. I'm a relationship and empowerment coach for women, and my lifelong friend Michal is a wellness and nutrition coach.
Yes.
Michal, introduce yourself.
Well, hi everybody. You just did. I'm a wellness and nutrition coach. I've been trained in the functional medicine space. I've been doing this for almost two decades now, helping people reclaim and restore their health and vitality and focus on their longevities and longevity. Oh, that was terrible language. Anyway, that's what happens when you're recording live. Jodi, it's so good to chat with you again. And thank
Always.
for doing the intro. We thought we'd switch it up today, and it's nice. It's nice to be introduced. And just as always, we were scrambling about what we're going to talk about just before we started, and going through just things, and one thing leads to another. We started talking about the challenges that we both face in supporting people and coaching people in making change, right?
And it's yes, it's with our clients, but it's actually in life in general,
Yep.
actually. It applies to everything we do. It applies to ourselves internally. It applies to our relationships. And then you and I are also see it very clearly when working with our clients.
And that was I think how it came up is that this is an ongoing challenge for us, and it's an ongoing challenge for everybody.
Mm.
Always change
Mhm.
is probably one of the, even change that we know is going to be good for us,
Yeah.
is one of the hardest things to do, or most challenging things to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to throw it to the psychologist to maybe explain a little bit of that.
Yeah, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and change is really difficult for human beings. Even when we think that we are welcoming change, it is so difficult. We get so accustomed to our ways of doing things, and I think we naturally like predictability. We like to know what to expect, even in a bad relationship. Um, in fact, my live today was on this. Now that it's interesting how things connect, is that even in a bad relationship, we stay. And one of the reasons we stay is because we know what to expect. We know how it works. We may have figured out how we walk on our eggshells. We may have figured out how we don't rock the boat, or what we find ways around even difficult situations. But if we figured it out, if it's familiar, we stay. It's one of the reasons that we choose people, partners, and friends for that matter, but partners that are familiar to us. It might not always be obvious at first glance, but that feeling that we get when we're with someone has some familiarity from things in the past. Why do we attract familiarity? Because it's predictable. It's we don't have to change. We know how it works. So I don't know what you have to say about that before I say more and go off at some other reasons that I can think of that makes it difficult for people to make changes. But what thoughts do you have so far?
Well, I can just tell you, even from a physiological perspective, the
Hmm.
body works really, really hard to create its own type of balance. Even if that balance is detrimental in certain areas, the body works really hard to create that. And rocking the boat for that balance is also very stressful to the body. So if you think about, and I'm going to use a very basic analogy, when you're significantly overweight, and there's multiple reasons, but and then you reduce your food intake a lot, or you go on a diet, your body doesn't like it, right?
Mm,
It might be better for your body in the long run.
yeah.
It might help a whole lot of systems work better, but your brain, no, there's something wrong here, and your body will fight you, and your body will try and do what it has always done. Even if getting what it has always gotten isn't ideal, it likes to do what it's always done. So if I know as Jewish people, and I know many other religions do too, we have days where we fast, we don't eat, and we don't drink. Now, there's physiological things that we definitely need to drink, but we know that you are very capable, your body is very capable of going without food, even the slimmest person, of going without food for a couple of weeks before things really start to be problematic. Now, that's not healthy for you, and I'm not saying do that, but even fasting for one day, even skipping one meal, right? There's a hormonal issues, and there's many reasons for it. I'm not saying it's only because your body likes that, but even on a like on a mental level for the body, it will fight you. It'll tell you, I need food. I need food right now. I am going to die without food. This is a terrible situation for me. My life is in jeopardy, right? You get you get all of the things, and it's the body trying to fight for what it knows to be its balance.
Is
And
that part of like a survival mechanism, a natural survival mechanism, or is it trying to reach homeostasis?
well, both, because homeostasis is important to the body, but homeostasis is a survival mechanism. Because when homeostasis is removed, our generally it means that our life is in danger. Our cortisol goes up. So if you think about the ancient human body, and the modern human body is not that different from the ancient human body, but the ancient human environment is very different from the modern human environment. In the ancient human environment, what generally produced that shift in homeostasis was a severe lack of food, or a life-threatening situation. You're getting chased by a bear. And that creates a situation for the body where it goes into preserve my life mode. I need to do to preserve my life so that everything is nice and calm again. Right? And now in our modern world, we don't have the same physical situations. It's very rare that you'll get chased by a bear. A physiological response to something that elicits a stress is exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing with relationships, actually,
Yes.
because when we are in a stressful relationship, whether it's toxic or whether it's dysfunctional, whatever stress is happening, our brain does interpret that to mean survival mode. It is a threat. Our bodies, our brains experience it as a threat. And we go into that from a psychological perspective, we go into that fight or flight or freeze or fawn response.
And what's interesting is when you say you've learned how to walk on the eggshells, that's your body finding its balance, finding its homeostasis. So now we know how to find our balance in this situation. Take the situation away and we're imbalanced again.
Yeah, we don't know how to navigate it. Yeah. And that's where change becomes difficult. And what also happens is because we can say we don't want to be in this bad relationship. We can say, I don't feel good in this relationship. And for, in your field, we can say, I don't want to feel unhealthy. I want more energy. We can say it. That's on a conscious level. But all the things we've just been talking about, our subconscious rules. Our subconscious makes most of our decisions for us. We think we're always thinking, we're always conscious, we're always aware, we're awake, but really our subconscious is making most of our decisions. So what's happening underneath is sabotaging, I suppose, would be the way to describe it, because we can say, I don't want to be in this bad relationship. I don't want to eat junk. I don't want to drink alcohol. But subconsciously, the benefits we're getting from it Or back to what we're saying, that familiarity, we know what it's going to feel like when I drink that alcohol. It will help me stop thinking about the problems that I'm having. Or I know what to expect in this relationship. That subconscious familiarity way outweighs consciously knowing this isn't good for me. So now it's like, well, what's your motivation for making change?
And that's a
Mm,
little something we were discussing before, and we said we both speak about it differently.
mm-hmm,
But from a coaching perspective, and we all need it, is, and we can even do it to ourselves when you
mm-hmm,
now, is really getting in touch with your deep why, not your conscious why, not the I want to look good naked why, right? It's why do you want to look good naked? Right?
mm-hmm,
Like literally, why do you want to look good naked? And why is that important?
mm-hmm,
And why is that important? And
mm-hmm.
why is that important? And that's the hard work. It's really drilling down and delving deep into your motivation, right?
Yeah.
Why do you want out of this relationship? Why?
Mhm.
Right? It's familiar to you. Being alone sucks.
Yeah.
Dating in 2025 is awful. These are all of the reasons to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you want to leave? Right? Why do you want to leave? Well, my life might be in jeopardy. Like
It feels like that. It feels that
even
scary.
even
Yes.
and so that's where the work of change comes, not by
Mhm.
saying I want to do it and oh, here's a plan, or here's my exit strategy, or here are the conversations you need, here's the script for the conversations you
Yeah. Yeah.
need.
It's not just that problem solving piece. It's not just like, here's the plan to do it. You have to internally, you call it know your why, like
Yeah,
do some deep soul searching of what this is going to give you. Leaving the relationship, what is that going to give you? You might not know all the answers yet because you don't know what's out there for you, because it's hard to trust that there will be another person there for you. It's hard to trust that you'll be okay on your own. It's hard to trust that you'll be able to pay your bills. It's hard to trust all of that, but that's another piece of it as well, is learning to trust yourself and know that you know what's best for you, and weighing out the benefits and the downsides, the benefits of leaving, the benefits of eating healthily, the benefits of cutting back on alcohol versus the cost, versus how it's harming you.
sure. And unfortunately, a lot of people live in a world of should.
Hmm.
I should get out of this relationship. So I'm going, so I need to say that I want to. And
Yeah,
doing that work to change,
yeah,
really not, it's not something I can force you to do.
right.
Something you can force me to do. So if I'm not prepared to really like drill down and dig in to
Mm-hmm.
why I need to do it and to trust myself and to live in that unease,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a horrible place to live sometimes
Yep.
when you don't know, when
Yeah.
you're unsure. If either you're not prepared to, or you don't have the support to do it,
Yeah.
or you simply sometimes you don't want to and you're living in a place of should, right? It's something else to learn to acknowledge about yourself without judgment, because
Mm-hmm.
right now doesn't mean always and forever either. So if you're not ready now, doesn't mean you won't be ready in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now there
Mm-hmm.
are certain situations where you say, what will it take for you to be ready? Right. But you're not ready. And they've done some really good studies with smokers. There's a great book. I think we might have discussed it before. I don't remember, called Change or Die. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it's a fabulous book about
Mm-hmm.
about smoking cessation, right? Now, with addiction and with all of that, smokers, especially once you start to have symptoms of illness from smoking, you're going to die. It's going to kill you. You are on your way to death. Stop smoking. And they don't. Right. And it's all part of how the entire book is about how difficult it is to
Uh-huh.
change. even when your life depends on it.
Is there something specific about smoking that gives different reasons that makes difficult? Mm.
No, no. There's a benefit that you get from smoking
Mm-hmm.
that for you in this moment is still worth having a shorter life for. And
Yeah.
it might seem superficial and ridiculous to somebody who doesn't smoke,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
somebody who does, and to anybody who's given up, it's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's that feeling that you get when you first have a drag. It's the social part of it. It's the running out and just like mentally being able to take a break. There's many, many
Yeah. We can
aspects.
do it as well. We can go through drugs and alcohol as well. That
Drugs,
it can seem,
alcohol,
why wouldn't you just quit? But it's not that easy because of the benefits that are coming from it.
well, food, right? Health,
Mm-hmm.
relationships. There is something that you're getting out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if superficially it seems like there's nothing that you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
Be it a self-fulfilling prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
be it a mental need that you get in your brain, be it the dopamine hit that you get from it, be it the sometimes the rush of the fight or the amazingness of the making up, right? You know the addiction to the
Yeah.
cycle,
Yeah.
the dopamine, that dopamine cycle,
Yeah.
right? Is
It's
some
all addiction on so it's all connected to
Yeah,
addiction on
it's
some
all
level, even in a
connected to
relationship.
to dopamine, right?
Yeah.
How we trigger and stimulate dopamine. And the more studies, and dopamine, for those who don't know, is our reward neurotransmitter. It's our reward brain chemical. And we crave it and we love it. And the more we have, the more we want. And we get desensitized to it really fast. So the more you get, right, the more stimulus you need in order to get it. And
Mm-hmm.
it is the most powerful drug that we have. And everything that we do in life, from gaming
Mm-hmm.
to fighting with a spouse,
Yeah.
comes down to dopamine, which is and that's the addiction that's hard to break, because dopamine is that powerful. Again,
Mm.
life-saving. Dopamine tells us something is good. Dopamine tells us we've done a good job. Dopamine is what it feels like when you get an A on your test or you get 100%. That's
It's everywhere.
that's
Yes.
dopamine,
Yes. And we keep
right?
chasing that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not that it's bad for you. It's
Yeah.
that
It's a natural chemical. Mm-hmm.
we live in a world where it's overstimulated.
Mm.
And so change, as another part of all of it, becomes harder, and harder.
Mhm. And when you talk about the why, when you talk about we have too many shoulds, like shoulds are not going to bring the change because that the why isn't there. The should is just so far removed. It's not your own reason. So, and that's also like internal motivation.
I was going to say
That's where
external
real change,
validation. Yeah.
external validation, right? It does not do the same job as having an internal motivation. When we really want to make the change for ourselves, relationship, you take a look at yourself and you go, I don't like the way I feel in this relationship. I don't like the anxiety. You recognize that there's perhaps, let's say there's on an extreme level, perhaps there's abuse, perhaps there's gaslighting, or let's go the other way. It doesn't have to be abuse. It can just be this relationship doesn't feel good. I'm not heard. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not my happiest self. I know I'm not my best self. When you can tap into all those internal reasons why you do not want this anymore, you'll have much more reason to make those changes, to prioritize yourself. When the reasons are external, when it's a should, like you just think, oh, I probably should, or happens with drugs and alcohol so often where people are in treatment for external reasons because their spouse wants them to stop using, because their parent says, I'm going to kick you out if you don't get clean, because they've gotten arrested. Those are all external reasons. Yes, they can sometimes be a catalyst to begin change, but to sustain the change and to really put everything in it, to want to make the change, it has to come from internal. The motivation makes a big difference.
And it comes in my world, in the health world, in the health world as well, because it's very subtle, I guess, and it's just so we all want to. It's different now with the body image movement, but still, we all know we shouldn't be significantly overweight.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
read the studies,
Yeah.
it's not healthy for you. For the
Yeah.
majority of people, you cannot be significantly overweight and perfectly healthy at the same time. Come at me with that. We can have a conversation. Comments welcome. But the science is quite clear on that. So I should lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But why? Why?
Yeah. What are the
Well,
reasons, right? That's your why again.
yeah, because I'd be healthier. Well, why would you want to be healthier? Or what would being healthier look like to you? Or what would being healthier mean to you? It's about getting down to
Yeah.
those specifics. And until it means something to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Losing weight is not going to happen for you. And
Yeah,
it's not going to
it's
be
looking at those deep re those yeah, deep. What I mean by is those micro reasons, like how is it going to affect your life? How will your life look different if you make
yeah.
these changes?
And this is where visualization, if you ever do visualization with your clients, it can really be quite powerful. And this is where things like meditation work really well because they allow you into a space where you can, guided meditations can allow you into a space of visualization. But it's exactly that. How would your life be different
Hmm.
if you were healthier? First of
Hmm.
all, what does healthier mean? And how would your life be to you? And how would your life be different if you got that? What would a healthy relationship look like for you? And how would your life be different if you had that? Or how
Hmm.
would that impact you? And I have some personal experience with that coaching specifically in my own marriage. And it does work. And you do turn it around. And for any time that you want, I find any time that you want to make a significant shift in your life,
Hmm.
right? You need to have a real clear picture of
Hmm.
what that change looks like at the end. And then you can work on the trust and
Mm.
get there and all of those things. So having a clear picture of, and in my situation, is what would my perfect marriage look like? And not only what would my perfect marriage look like, what would me as me being, and I use perfect as in the best that I can be, what
Hmm.
in this situation, what would that look like?
Hmm.
How would I be? How would I be every single day? And then, right, it's about, you hear the term fake it till you make it, which I don't,
Uh-huh.
but there's
You
another,
don't, yeah, you don't like that?
no, because there's another term that I use instead called be it until you see it,
Ooh, I like it.
right? So you wake up every day as if you were that person. And it's hard work because you feel yourself. You can see, I am not that person right now. I'm being fake. No, you're
Yes.
not. You're building the mental muscle, the physical muscle,
Yeah.
whatever muscle you want it to be, actual muscle, whatever muscle you want it to be that person. If I want to be a person who's strong and muscular, I have to wake up and go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do. Will I
Yeah.
be able to lift my body weight and squat with it? Probably not the first day or the second day, but going to the gym and
Mhm.
doing it, showing up like the person who is strong,
Yeah.
it allows you to become the person who is strong. You're not faking it, you're being it until you become it.
And you're moving towards it. That's the other thing as well, because it's so it's difficult. Change is difficult. There's, we've been talking about the motivation to change, what's going to get you there. But then there's also while you are implementing what you need to implement, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally, it is difficult. And that's another deterrent for people. it's hard for people to stick through it. And um, I think the big outcome seems just so far away. So that's why I love what you talk about with the visualization. I love your phrase, be it till you see it.
Yeah, be it till you see it.
I love that. Because it also speaks to what I love, and I know you've talked about it too. I think we both do this, is we, yes, you have to have that goal so that you know what you're working towards and that you have that's your why as well. You know why you're doing it, but also be willing to do things in small increments and trust that you'll get there. And with concrete examples, it's so much easier to describe. If you want to get toned, if you want to build literal muscles, we all know that's not going to happen overnight. But you also know that if you stick through it consistently, I'm smiling because I remember something that we discussed in high school. I'll say it in a second. Um, if we stick through it consistently, that we will see changes. You do see the changes. You've got to trust that in 6 weeks, you will see changes. In 6 months, you will see changes. And in relationships as well, if you work on it, yes, you might still have fights. You might still lose your cool when you didn't plan to. You might still be working on your emotional regulation and having a better relationship. And yes, you'll slip, but let that be okay. That's the other part, you know. And I know you kind of also stopped. You said perfect. And then you were like, yes, I just mean the best that I can be, because I think you and I both agree there's no perfect. And we humans make mistakes, and humans do as we're working towards something, working towards a better relationship, working towards a better relationship with ourselves, working towards being healthier physically, mentally, emotionally. We are going to slip back. But even when we've reached a best point, we will still slip back. It's just who we are as human beings. So there's all these concepts that that are kind of simple when you say it, but because I'm sure people would all agree, yes, we're human and we make mistakes, but to really integrate that and trust that that's okay to make mistakes and talk about mistakes and embrace them and learn from them and be willing to see small changes, be willing to, if you didn't do it perfectly today, that's okay. It doesn't mean give up for the rest of the day. It doesn't mean don't do it again tomorrow. It just means, yeah, go, if you didn't manage to do your full workout today for whatever reason, it's okay. You still did what you could, and tomorrow's another day, and you'll work out again, and you'll work at that relationship again, or you'll approach your partner and apologize because you weren't able to apologize today because you were too angry. You'll have tomorrow. And you'll do it. So I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking when I said when I was giving the example of we all know we're not going to build muscle tomorrow. When we were in high school, I was hesitant to go to the gym because I said, but I'm so scared. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. I don't want to have these big muscles. I was scared to work out. And I remember you saying, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen just by you exercising and going to the gym. It's not going to happen. You have to do things very differently, and it takes a lot of time. It's so funny. There's like little things that you've said over time that really I remember so clearly. I even remember where we were. We were at school. We were literally at high school in
I mean,
the school on the school grounds.
interesting the things we remember. I think I told you one of the strongest memories I have of Jodi is going to her house one day, and she was putting moisturizer on her feet. And I'd never seen this in my life. I had a very strange childhood. And I'd know, like, why are you moisturizing your feet? And ever since then, I moisturized my feet because
I still do it. I still do it. And I'm still known. I should be on an ad because this is the lotion that I use,
you have to put
always
that
have
away
used.
because I'm going to talk
Oh,
badly about it. So put it away.
okay.
in my world, that's not the best stuff to be putting on your feet.
Oh goodness, really? Okay. Well, I have my favorite lotion that I always use.
But anyway, that's a different conversation. What I wanted to add to what you were saying is the understanding, the way that I usually describe it to people, is that life is not linear. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a straight line,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's hilly, and there's ups and downs, and the ups are great and the downs are fine. And it's understanding that it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up, which always needs to be
Mm-hmm.
one more time than falling down. And there's areas in our life, I find this very interesting. There's areas in our life where we don't expect perfection from ourselves. So as a parent, right, you know that you're going to make mistakes, you know that things are going to get messed up, and you don't stop being a parent. You don't say, oh well, I'm a terrible parent, I have to give up my child for adoption because I just
That's
can't
an
raise.
interesting analogy.
We don't
Mm-hmm.
do that, right? You
Mm-hmm.
go to work. We're not the most perfect employee. We've all made mistakes at work. That doesn't mean A, that you're going to get fired, or B, that you should quit, or you should find another career because you made a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Yet when it comes to our relationships, or when it comes to our health, it's very binary. It's very black or white. There is no gray zone. There is no room for error. It's either perfect or it's zero.
Mm-hmm.
And we really, most people that I've worked with live in this perfect or zero. And
Yeah.
trying to teach people how to navigate the in between,
Mm-hmm.
that most of our life is in that in between.
Mm-hmm.
We work towards getting it, be it till you see it. Work towards getting it to that 100%, although that 100% is going to change and evolve, and we might never get there. But working towards the 100%
Mm-hmm.
and being okay with sometimes dropping to 50 and then going back up to 70, but not
Mm-hmm.
allowing ourselves to over time, because we're all inherently mentally and emotionally quite lazy, and it's part of this trying to keep this equilibrium. It's hard work. We don't like to do that kind of hard work. It's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. It's hard, right? It's like when you first start working out. It's too hard. Same. Is allowing ourselves to slip back closer to zero.
Mm-hmm.
Because every little step you take, even one is greater than zero. Two
Yeah.
is greater than zero.
Exactly,
Five
exactly.
is greater than
Work
zero.
out for 5 minutes if you can't do an hour. Work out
No,
for 30 minutes if you can't do a full
there's
workout. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very famous exercise coach, and he says the way that he starts with his clients,
Mm-hmm.
he literally makes them, ones who've never worked out and who are very resistant. He
Mm-hmm.
literally, and he said, and they feel like idiots.
What happens?
They have to do it. He makes them go into the gym and do one rep, and then
Oh, I love that. I get it. I love that.
go into the gym, walk into the gym, do one squat,
Yeah.
put everything back, and leave. That's it. That's it for the day,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And do that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add on to that. And then you add on to that. And then you add on to that. And as I said, he's one of the most successful
I love that. I love that.
theology coaches on the planet. And that's one of his strategies. I was laughing
It's
when
that's part of what makes it good, that it is funny, that a person doing that it is funny, it's memorable, and the odds of you just doing one is very slim. You're
well,
going to need to
yeah,
help yourself
but
doing
he
more.
says you're not allowed to do
God
more.
doesn't allow it.
And it's very, very difficult. It's
Yeah.
very, very challenging. But you need to learn to control your ego. You need
Yes.
to learn, right, to get over yourself in
Yeah.
a way. You need to learn
Yeah.
to embrace the process.
Exactly.
It's
Because you know what I was thinking as you were describing it, that process, that so much is happening before that one squat that you did. You are making a decision to go to the gym. You are getting yourself into your workout clothes. You are setting aside time. You are deciding that you are going to drive there or walk there, whatever it is. All of that is part of the process. It's part of your motivation. It's part of what you're doing to get there. It's all relevant. It's,
it,
I love that idea. And it also, which is what you're saying, it breaks that all or nothing. It's not about having the perfect relationship. Oh, I got to, it's got to be perfect or I'm leaving. No, you can try, you can work at things, you can see what's working and what isn't. And with working out with nutrition as well, I'm sure you can, if you fall off and don't do it exact, you're still doing something. You're still doing better than you did yesterday. And over time, you still see changes.
Well, yeah.
This,
I'm going to share a story of a client of mine simply because it's very, very relevant. She came to see me. And
mm-hmm,
she was told to come and see me by the functional medicine doctor who I work with. And she
mm-hmm.
came to see me and she said, just so that you know, I never stick to a diet. Nothing works for me. I'm not going to stick to your diet. I said, okay,
Uh-huh.
we're not going to put you on a diet. She was like, oh, well, then how am I going to lose weight?
That's a catch 22 right there.
Well, she's not in tune with her why. And then I said, no, we're not really going to focus on that. We're just going to focus on maybe getting a little bit healthier so that my doctor will get off your back.
Mm,
Oh,
mm-hmm,
okay. Right. Cool.
mm-hmm,
External motivation, we're good.
mm-hmm,
And she was eating pastries every single day. She was drinking ridiculous amounts of soda. It happened to be Diet Coke, but it really doesn't matter what it is. It's
mm-hmm,
got, she was eating incredibly, incredibly poorly. She was convincing her, like she was on a food dopamine roller coaster, morning, noon, and night. She was on a sugar roller, all of the things. She was significantly overweight with significantly poor biohealth markers. And I started and I said, so how many Diet Cokes are you drinking a day?
mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe six, maybe eight. I was like, okay, can we maybe get it down to four? And she was like, huh? Is that all you're asking me? I said, yeah. She said, well, what am I going to drink instead? I said, well, you could try water. She said, no, no, I'm not going to drink water. I don't like water. I said, okay, you can get those flavored sparkling
Yes,
now.
yes.
The ones that don't have any sweet. I said, why don't we try one of those? No, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it. Well, why don't you go to the shops and go to the store? They make them in a million and two different flavors now. There's many different brands. Find one that appeals to you. Just try it. All right. This was 2 years ago. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I'm not talking about her weight loss, her
Mm-hmm.
health markers have improved so much that she goes to the gym and does workouts that you and I would probably like puke from
That's amazing.
times a week. She says, well, the best thing is that I can bend down and tie my shoelaces and it's not a problem. She wanted to do a hike in Italy. She went to do that.
Amazing.
And she hasn't had a pastry, let alone a Diet Coke, probably in almost a year.
That's amazing. You're speaking to incremental
Yeah.
changes.
Small. What we started with was reducing her Diet Cokes by 2 cans a day.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
From somebody who said, nothing ever works for me. I'm not
Yeah.
making changes.
Yeah.
Everything I've tried, I fail. So she came in
Yeah.
with a mindset of, which often is a predetermining factor as well,
Mm-hmm.
nothing
Mm-hmm.
ever works for me, right? I can
Yeah.
never.
And you're not going to help me is the
Yeah.
mindset
And
to
if I'm
begin
not
with.
going to help you, then I'm not. If you believe that, right? You know what? If you think you're right or if you think you're wrong,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think you
Yeah.
can, or if you think you can't, you're right, Henry Ford,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's the same thing. I'll never be in a good relationship. Well, then you'll never be in a good relationship, right?
Right.
I'll never eat healthy. So she came to me with this.
Yeah.
And I said to her a couple of weeks ago, I said, do you realize how far you've come? And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah. And I said, do you remember our first conversation when you told me you're never going to do this? And she started laughing and she said, you tricked me.
I love it. I love it
Yes, I
though.
did.
And we're talking 2 years later now, and it's possible that some big, these changes happened even a little, even say 2 years. It's so hard for people to think 2 years from now. Um, like if you were to say, yes, we can work on this, and in 2 years' time or in 1 year time, you will be eating healthily, you will feel better, you'll have a better relationship. It it's somehow people find it hard to
Yeah.
trust that far ahead when the reality is your life is still going to be a year is still going to come. Two
Yeah.
years is still going to come. So you can get to choose how you want to be in 2 years' time, even if it's going to take a while. And there's constant improvement, constant changes. You will constantly see that progress happening.
And focusing on not 2 years' time, focusing on all
Shorter.
all she had to do was
Yeah.
not drink
Yeah.
Diet Cokes a day
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, because I see my clients every 2 weeks. And
Okay.
all she had to do was for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And if she fell off the wagon one day, that's okay. She could text me about it if she liked, or she could tell me afterwards. But the goal is to not let one day become 2 days.
That's
So,
exactly, yeah.
oh,
Yeah. The
2 weeks.
texting you about it, telling you about things that not going as had planned. There's also a mindset around that. Like, let that be okay. Let that be, that's okay. We're human. We make mistakes. Same thing as relationships. You say something to a partner that you wish you hadn't. You do something unkind. You having different. You don't want to apologize for something you know that you did. You know you're not communicating well. It's okay. We're human. So just let tomorrow be better. Just decide you're going to do it differently later. Just keep making those changes. It's part of the mindset of it's okay to fall down. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to apologize. It's okay to not be perfect. And we can keep making improvements that build upon one another.
And understanding that acknowledging that you've done something wrong doesn't make you a lesser person. It doesn't
Hmm.
make you a failure. You're not a terrible parent
Right.
because you did something that wasn't as a parent, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you need to
Yeah.
give your kid up for adoption, right? It's the same thing. It's not black and white, and it's not linear.
Yes.
And it's getting up one more time than you fall down. No
I
matter
love.
no matter what that looks like. And understanding what you're doing is hard. It can be exhausting.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Working on yourself is hard. Working on relationships is hard.
Hmm.
My gosh. Right? It's like,
Hmm.
oh my, again and again and again. But how do you get good at something? By doing it again and again.
Hmm.
There's a real
Hmm.
cliche called practice makes perfect.
Yeah. Hmm.
Gotta do it again. And
And I have a variation on that one as well that I learned from my daughter. Practice makes permanent.
yeah. And
Because
for
that
those of
removes
you,
that.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for those of you who don't know, your daughter is a very accomplished musician.
And
So
in fact, she learned that phrase from her one of her music teachers. That's exactly because the teacher was trying to stay away from perfection. Again, same concept. Yes, she is a good musician, but again, it doesn't have to always be perfect. But we keep practicing and we move towards just making things more permanent, more solid. I mean, you've said some amazing things today in terms of change not being linear, taking small steps. We don't have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. It's about standing up again. Not all or nothing thinking, being flexible. Where is your why coming from? What is that internal motivation? And even when change is difficult, it's still worth doing and looking at the benefits. Yes, it can be difficult. That's life, but we can do it.
we can. I'm going to add one thing now. We've spoken a lot about all the internal motivation, right?
Hmm.
Um, but sometimes, often, what really, really helps is once we've gotten in tune with that internal motivation, is external motivation.
Hmm.
Because accountability to ourselves, we're terrible at. We all lie to ourselves every single day, biggest liars to ourselves. It's not a good or a bad trait that you have. We all do it every day. How many times have you said, I'll do it tomorrow, and you haven't, whatever it might be? Okay. But we really like to be, again, dopamine. We like to be accountable to other people. We don't like to let other people down. And that's it. That's it. It feels good. It feels good when somebody's proud of you. It feels good when somebody gives you a high five and says, good job, right? Even if even doing it for, you need to do it for you, but it feels good.
Yes.
So
Yes.
having support, having a
Yeah.
community, talking
Yes.
about it, removing the shame, because the only shame that we have is the shame we put on ourselves, right? When I know that you're trying to make a change, I would want to I encourage you,
Mm-hmm.
help, how can I support, what do you need, right? And you're like, oh, I'm so embarrassed that I have to do this, right? It's like I don't want to tell somebody that my relationship isn't perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Why to hear
That's why having the right support is important. Somebody who won't judge you, somebody who will support you, someone who also understands that we don't have to be perfect and we can make mistakes and fall down and get back up again.
yeah. And so although we've said external motivation won't
Mm-hmm.
help make the change, external validation can
Mm.
help the process.
Yeah, so let me clarify a couple of things as well, because yes, external motivation, like we said earlier as well, can also be an initial catalyst if necessary. And I want to also just differentiate. We're not talking about external motivation in terms of we're doing it solely for somebody else. We're
Yeah.
not losing weight because then we think our partner will love us just
Us.
because we've lost weight. It's not that you're saying. You're
No.
talking about having external, you called it accountability, external support, and validation. Really, you can tell me how you say that, but I know that word can often be seen differently. I would, in this context, I see that to be someone else who is supportive, who understands, who can give honest feedback about what they're seeing.
Yes, and validate your work and say,
Mm-hmm.
job.
Acknowledge.
Acknowledgement, yes, is
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a better word. I'm proud of you. Like, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Like the client that I was talking about, it's like I don't miss an opportunity to say, wow, and to remind her how far she's come,
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
because really remembering what you're doing is important, right? So the support is in my world, doing something alone, it can be done, but the chances of your success are exponentially higher when you do it with a coach in a
Mm-hmm.
community. This is why
Mm-hmm.
Weight Watchers actually worked so well as a weight loss program.
Good point. Yeah.
Weight loss program on the planet. It's not, but because of how it fostered community
Mm.
and
And I always say we're human beings. We were designed to live in community, designed to have, it takes a village. That's how we're designed as humans. We were never meant to do things alone, is the way I see it. And I'm actually often saying that to
yeah,
clients.
we live in tribes. We always have.
Mm-hmm.
We always have, and yeah, I mean that's a different conversation. I was about
Yeah.
to start, and I said, "Do not go down that
I
rabbit."
know. Is there anything else that for today that you're thinking about, Nicole?
I think this is a good introduction to change and how um creating change for yourself, how to maybe begin there, and how working with somebody, be it you who people can reach out to on all platforms, right? Or me, again, people can reach
Mm.
out to all platforms, and our information is in the um
Yeah.
in the notes below. How working with somebody neutral can help, how finding a community can help, but how most importantly, first getting in touch with yourself and understanding that there is work to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to be a whole ton of work today, right? You
Right.
can't do every you did it didn't take you a
Right.
minute to get here. It's
Yeah.
not going to take you a minute to leave here,
Right.
but to commit to some work and doing a little bit every day, be it till you see it
With support.
with
With
support.
support. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one. I'm gonna steal that one from you.
Please
Yeah,
do. I'm
tell
sure
your
I
secret.
stole it from somebody at some point. I don't even, I've used it for so long, I don't even remember anymore, but I bet I stole it because my one coach always used to say to me, R&D, replicate and duplicate.
Nice.
Not meaning steal, it means there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes, that's true, right?
Right?
Well,
There's nothing new.
I would love to hear what others think, what you all think about what we're talking about, motivation, change. Love to hear your comments, see your comments down below, and hear some more about what you all think.
Great. And let us know what else you want us to talk about, or if you want
Yeah,
to talk about this a little bit more too, because what's interesting to us, we hope is interesting to you, and I'm sure what's interesting to you will be interesting to us.
for sure.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, nice to see you too. Till next time.
Likewise. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.